all three episodes. From all three episodes, while this anime has real way go from what the anime itself trying to achieve. Sure, with all those fan service and false relationship that we don't know the girls about. In a sense, this anime still implies a lot of fan service between topics discussions, and it's overly inserted. But that's the thing about this anime for me. I think that I'm not supposed to be serious with it. Because it's themed as nighttime, the time of the freedom, the time of the releases. You can't do whatever you want at night. For me, the score of the first arc, as I would call it, I said it myself, is good. Despite the tidbits of nitpicking, there's almost no clear direction in the first arc. So I will mostly just tidbits, nitpickings, anything that I've seen from Cover Night, so don't take it that seriously. Because these informations might be wrong in the future episode, I don't know. Because Cover Night might change, because that might be the point of Cover Night to be releases to be free in the first arc. Well, I have a lot of the things that I'm kind of not okay with, like is the animation, is the vague story and quarter of Cover Night. Almost almost a lot of main aspect of the Cover Night, but I accept that the directions, the everything else. I've never seen this kind of anime. Like I don't know what directions I don't know how to say it. It's like this anime when it doesn't have goals. It's make this anime open a world and feel free of unexpected and unpredictability of what will happen next. It can be good to have the world feels like unrestricted, world feels like it's free, and have a lot of unpredictability. When I watch this anime, I often doesn't have the clear pictures of what this anime will go, where the direction of this anime will go. Other than Cole trying to having the relationship, love, trying to find the meaning of love, I don't have the pictures of what Cole need to go through, what to have those kind of love. Maybe rather than having unexpectedly fan service 90 edgy moments, rather than that, trying to maybe Cole trying to have a bond, having a bond, going a date with Nasuna, or doing anything really to trying to find those meaning of love, rather than left the viewers audience hanging of what will happen. The relationship of Nasuna and Cole at first, it should, in the first three episodes, it should have some kinds of anything they have to go through to improve their relationship, which no spoiler, but it unexpectedly too small and petty. Just a little bit of misunderstanding, but other than that, there's no big kind of hurdles these Nasuna and Ko need to go through in order to improve the relationship. The story often feel vague and doesn't have any clear directions of where I think will Nasuna relationship with Ko will go. To what end? Sure, Cole will love Nasuna more, but in the middle of that, it feels like this anime is durarara in terms of vague story and open world. But in the way that I think doesn't suit this kind of anime. Animation doesn't. While animation have a lot of the scenes that doesn't being as sexy, as equally as sexy, as stylish, as equally as the fan services scenes, which kind of put down a bit And will this anime be anime about relationship of the Cole and people around him, or this anime will be the adventure supernatural of the Nasuna? We don't know what Nasuna before met with Cole doing something. What is she doing? We still don't know. Maybe we will know in the future. But for now, the character feels so empty to me. Feels so. Sure, Cole Carter is your normal middle schooler, but and I still don't feel anything special other than tidbits of social criticism from his character. But other than that, I don't really see anything that is worth wow of exploring about the character and the story. It feels vague, sometimes without reason. This anime in episode 1 have been having excellent animation and open world in the first place, but as the story goes into the episode 3, it doesn't explore anything that extraordinary. Rather, this anime criticize the social, criticize the social aspect, relationship aspect, which honestly is what I'm interested in the first place of watching this. Not what I am interested in the first place of watching this anime. Still, I am interested in those criticism of the socials and which directions this anime will go with the criticism of the socials. Will it go in a way that it doesn't explore the adventure of each character, rather explore the relationship of the character around the main character, like in Kotaro Live Alone, but rather doesn't be in a positive way of slowly progresses the story higher and higher, rather explore things around them. And animation of each scenes of the some scenes of fan service, as I say before, having a lot of good animation, having a lot of the interesting stylish scenes like in episode 1, and most of the fan service scenes, there hasn't been any reason to do it rather than fan service, which is the only thing I could think of, which I disagree about. This anime should have the animations to be equally not be extraordinary in the scenes that about real that meaning in really that meaningful way, in really that way, in really when the main character Ko and Asuna Nana go on to improve their relationship, knows about themselves, and having those scenes to be extraordinary, those scenes to be high higher budget and good animation doesn't really hurt anyone. While being the same fan service scenes, while also progresses the story. While in the episode 1, I agree that it's made me hope that this anime to be better anime in the future, be vast anime in the future, while having these kind of extraordinary animations. I haven't really and then my hope is shattered after the episode 1. So I don't know why this anime trying to be that stylish when this anime isn't about the night in the first place. This anime should, if like I don't understand the point, I don't understand the goals of this anime. If it's about the night, get the character to explore the night, get the character to go through the trials, go explore the freedom of the night, rather than restricted to the fan service, rather than restricted the story to only be the Ko and Asuna. And I disagree a lot about this, what this anime could be and what this anime could be. Sure, it's not really a vast potential, but it is a falsified perception in the first place that I perceive this anime to be. But I am seeing the seriousness of the anime trying to talk about this group problem, so I consider watching and reflecting it. Will it grows to be called the Yahari Oregairi rom-com, or if it grows to be Shikimori, it grows to be those kind of romance like Hanu, rom-com, normal rom-com comedy supernatural anime. I don't know which directions this anime will go. Even if it's directionless in the first few episodes, maybe it's just setting the story to be more and more socially sarcastic, or more and more romance. I don't know. Maybe it's about the relationship. Maybe it's about the growing. Episode 3 of the Call of the Night. Episode 1 of the Call of the Night. To announce a bit, Renai Froth will be later on, like weeks, to publish episode 1, so we'll farm on the Call of the Night first. I thought I was action anime in the first episode as long as it goes. It is rom-com social reflections, so it has no problem, because I also like it. This, for episode 1, the art style and everything else is dream-like, night-like. But this animation in some scene is very crude and unpolished. It's like you put real-life photo into the anime, and not very good at color control, so some scene is very unpleasant to look at rather than being beautiful night given the context of the anime. Some scenes so bright, some scenes so dark. I know that has to be the variation between the anime, but the color control needs to be good at the job too. Also doing these kind of anime where it has a dream-like landscape, like 18 Eve, those really avant-garde anime, or even the Hyvene Renmei Lane, Evangelion. These avant-garde experimental anime in general needs to be kind of the color art director need to be good at color control and consistent scenes. As I watch this anime, it feels like it's very watery. There's no meat. I think it's vague. There's no real meat in it. There's not that meaty of the story. There's no rich story in the anime, and the quarter faces proportion with some scene very out of proportions and not very to make me engage that much. I was mostly bored watching this anime in the first few episodes, include episode 2 and 3. But episode 1, I say, I was bored in terms of middle of the story where the Nasuna explaining she's, and it's very expositional. It's very raving, like these kinds of the explaining she's, this kind of the also the last few scenes where Nasuna say the night mixed with the blood, like it's very raving, like it's very dream, just like sleep talking. And I just also the later on episode, it just doesn't have, it just a words, a dialogue that say only for to look good, but it doesn't have any real meaning into it. It's not like Evangelion where there's 1,000-fold lore. As I say, this anime doesn't focus on supernatural aspect. Call of the Night doesn't focus on supernatural aspect, rather in real aspect, which I don't know what this exposition is. The night you refuse with the blood tonight, and night is free. You can't do anything else. Like this kind of dialogue, it is very very meaningless, very directionless, as I say. Like even I don't know what to need. I don't know what to say about this anime. Because it is very directionless in the first 3 episodes. So for episode 4, I sneak a peek on like first few minutes. I see there's a lot of the there's also the relationship and problems and stuff. But in the first 3 episodes, I just like doesn't have anything but to nitpick the dialogue. So forgive me, but the dialogue is kind of annoying to me, mostly for the most part. And color control sucks, as I say. Sometimes it portray very red and very bright yellowish. Sometimes white. It's the art director of this anime doesn't control the color of the beautiful night given the context of the anime, and beautiful light scene like AKB, like Violet Evergarden, this kind of anime. I give this anime 3 or 4 or 5 episodes, depends on the arc story. If this anime leans toward being pure gagging anime, it seems like there's nothing for me to talk on. So I might consider dropped this anime from the reflections, depends on episode 4. If episode 4, 5 having a good context of the story, having something, the directions of the anime is clear enough for me to have something to pinpoint on. Otherwise, I don't have anything to say about this anime. And it will be just long-winded, incoherent punchline, ranting and stuff. There's nothing anymore for me to talk about this particular anime. For also some scene characters of the proportion so much. I don't know if this anime going to be pure gaggy anime or not. I've said that this anime is out of proportion, but like I don't understand if this anime will be pure gaggy anime. If it will be pure fan service gag anime, or being social hajimang, being origari. Nothing to talk about much rather than my expectation for this anime, what I want this anime to be in the future. So my expectation for this anime not going to be pure gaggy anime and focus on social aspect of the anime to criticize it. As it will be like Origairu, where the relationship between characters really is kind of being the side thing. Rather, Watari focus on not the relationship between this character, but rather using this character to be to portray the social problem, to portray the social aspect of the anime. I think Cover Night dialogue is too stretched. Cover Night camera angle is too still. I want Cover Night to be like Monogatari or Last Lip or Shiki, like the anime one where story and camera angle is boom boom, talk talk, set into play, and fast pace, and get into the point of what it is, not to play around. But rather this anime being rom-com, as what I'm expect this anime to be shiki, like vampire stuff. But rather this anime being rom-com gaggy, well, I don't know how this anime will portray using the character like Yahari or Igairu to portray how this fucking suck social is, how, or do we just like roam around, goof off, and doing some cool stuff in the town, and some kinds of tidbits of the relationship problems. Cover Night need to show how cool Night is. This scene totally catches my interest. wonder if concept about doing something in the night, how far it would go, because mainly I don't know if this anime will be social criticism, reflections, or revolve around these things while showing comedy gag and stuff, but the goal of this anime is still not clear enough to catch us the turn. But I don't like when Cover Night tone suddenly getting slow, calm, because like it is clutter the flow where I watch quickly get overwhelmed and boring. The score for episode 1 of Call the Night is okay. Because I don't really have the context of what dialogue is, and it's what is happening. It's just way. It's just ReZero, like ReZero feeling really. I don't have the context of what's happening. I don't. Well, some anime like Chigi, or some anime like Glass Slip, or some anime like uh Yahari in the first few episodes, it's I'm okay with it because of its stylish. Um, its style was substance really. I just see something in this Shigi. Well, in case of Shigi, I feels like I'm still intrigued. There's still something going on that I need to um solve the mystery. Well, in case of um in case of Call of the Night, it's bluntly put about the fact that it's just bluntly put there's vampire in as well. No mystery at all. It's just vampire shit. This this kids just don't go to this crew. And what's next? There's nothing else. Like really, there's nothing else to for me to just go on to just go what I wanted to what this anime have to solve, like maybe vampire is just maybe there's other vampire, maybe like the relationship of Cole, what Cole need to do to accomplish love with Nasuna. Maybe he needs to um learn to love himself, maybe he needs to learn to know himself. It just bluntly put everything out, and so I don't really intrigue with what it has to say. Well, in case of Glass Lip, um, the anime, in the first episode like introduced a bunch of the character, have a dreamy scenes, over style, over substances. Well, in Komi-san, well, Komi showed us cases. It has some weird joke. Well, in Call of the Night, I don't see any substances, and I don't like the style of Call of the Night. It may be a personal stances, but it's hard for anyone else, other people to enjoy it. I just guessing. This is my speculation. The there's also dreamy scenes which also doesn't have no meaning, like in Glass Lip where it's just adolescent scenes of like Hanabi. It's just adolescent beautiful PA work, it's stuff, and it's not stop. But in Cover Night case, it just stop in the middle of the story, and it just stop and playing gaggy stuff. Well, there's also some scenes which not very good at controlling the colors, and some scene just changed to be the beautiful stuff and cheesy and expositional for no reason, for no um with with talking about some nonsense which doesn't mean anything else. It's meaningless things. So it is okay, but I don't know, this Joel Koisu rom-com this day try a lot to insert intimate relationship and fan service in episode 2 of Call of the Night, and their rom-com anime, which I kind of don't understand why. Maybe to appeal the audience, not to say that many mainstream shonen, I shonen mostly of the people who drama over their Twitter about the fact that there's fan service in My Hero Academia in cover arts, and mostly in the anime itself. while in our very elitist websites who watch a lot of slice of life and rom-com anime who have no life like me or have it. Real I really don't understand why those kind of people doesn't those people who watch My Hero Academia doesn't watch the Cover Night or these kind of rom-com which has a lot of fan service around the anime. Which I accept that some scenes of the fan service of Sonobe's Doll or mini rom-com anime kinda make me horny. But you have to understand, I do not come into Cover Night expecting to watch full-flesh fetishes anime, even socks, which anime which JC staff did in back in 5 or 6 years ago, or Bokubang, or Gotobu no Hanayome, or Snowbiscuit or Koisuru. That's these kind of fetishes. In a way, that's still like in episode 2 of Sonobe's Door, Koisuru. There's still a story of trying to making the cosplay with Marin. But in the Cover Night, there is surprisingly nothing. Really, just a conversation to fourth character, which is meaningless from since episode 1. Trying to talk to each other about a relationship, about a life, blah blah blah, and maybe improve the relationship to the point that they make up for no reasons. I just don't. I mean, I understand it to the extent about the fact that it's trying to make the anime to being cozy, trying to make the anime to being really close, cozy places, and don't want this anime to be too serious. But in it's make the anime kind of don't going nowhere and vague for me. It's not like this anime, not like ReZero either, where there's many mystery, there's many things to explore. You just say, and it just supernatural themes just doesn't click with me. Just not anything else. Just what vampire just exists in the world. I mean, I do not find a lot of meaning in slice of life anyway. But like, in maybe it's need to have some kinds of playing with its themes of slice of with its theme of supernatural vampire. Like vampire couldn't do this, vampire couldn't go into the light, vampire is just like did she leave first, like Jahi anime, like in the seasons, I believe the past few seasons ago, Jahi sama wa something like that. That anime also has to play with the demon components of the anime, the themes of it. But the themes of this anime is a problem because it conveys so confusingly, conveys so vague, conveys so much. It doesn't catch my attention. It just like it exists and not playing with it. I just don't understand this anime. For me, those overly insert fan service. For me, those fan service scenes got me off of the anime. Featuring diary gag of vampire. This anime astray from what I would call it pure slice of life. As I portray myself as phony Junibyo Cheese. Phony Junibyo anime scholar slash reviewer slash critics slash reflector. But in essence, I am just a kid raving and delusional in the room, so I present you with the complete new words that I invent, so don't take it that seriously. What I call pure slice of life include being gaggy showing life of a certain thing but do not pitch other concept up front. For example, for me, Origairu is not a pure slice of life because it pictures the society criticism as being the main drive force behind the anime. Sakura Soul is half pure source of life. Sakura Soul focuses on the theme of growing up as using it as the base to drive the relationship forward, to have dialogue for a character to talk about, but vice versa, to present this theme to the viewer as the theme of a genius, as a theme of growing up. Akibi-chan no Sailor Fuku is a piece of life given that Akibi highlighted relationship and activity between character throughout almost no consensus that it is purely slice of life of each character. Same could be said about Hinsky, unhappy, most cute girl doing cute thing genre, or Kyoani anime like Hyoku. So, in Call of the Night also appears as a life focus on relationship between co-vampire that barely we do know the goal of how it came to be. Sure, in 14 years old, I believe it hard to say if you have to have reason to do something. But in its concept, in concept of social criticism in episode 1, to be whole another things to do. Do this anime wanted to only fan service the viewer? Or will only Ko-kun and Nana-chan sweets and date and play with each other? Are you okay with it? Using middle school boy personality as a trait to show jealousy for the sake of fan service that I am starting to annoy Ko. And for the whole episode I don't really engage into the relationship of these two. Probably the anime goes into the fan service immediately after opening of the anime, so I don't invest in it. Sorry, but I really do not click with this episode, so the score is probably being so there's also some value in watching the animation of fan service if you have the fetishes, but other than that, nothing else really clicked within me. Nothing really to follow, nothing really to talk about. So, episode 3, Reflections of Call of the Night. This is where I came to like Call of the Night. The dialogue, tones, atmosphere, and social criticisms, everything falls into places. I prefer a real serious tone of this anime, make the fan services feel off. This exactly the feeling I have wanted from Call of the Night bittersweetness of the relationship between vampire and human, the jealousy. How this anime reflects social is true to the extent that our society is just trapped kids in certain places, certain prisons, and they are forced to live in those particular hellhole. If they have rare preference of hobby, it almost guarantees that they will have no friends. They can't choose people to work with or people to be friends with. They're forced. And sometimes you force yourself to talk to these people that you don't even know if you're a friend with them. There is also something outside of, like in the night, there is also something that in the world to explore. School sucks. School stupid for trapping you. My parents suck for trapping me at the school rather than get me to do the other things. That is the thought repeated in my mind thousands and thousands of times. So I agree with the point of Call of the Night. So the relationship of Nasuna with Ko developed the least from understanding point of Ko. Ko is character that reflect me myself in middle school, and now I was exactly like Ko, unreasonable. I just don't want to go to school. It feels like a prison, so I dropped out. In terms of reasons and world building of vampire, and why parent Ko exists is also the flaws of this anime. When you critique something real, please make your world real too. The components that happen in this anime, the theme is everything is happening without the basis. It's not like Evangelion where there's thousand-fold floors. There's or the charms like Origairu where everything is having a thousand times complicated relationship, philosophical themes and stuff. It is the fact that this anime does not have those charms. Sure, it has some pretty scenes, but color control and animation is pretty
It's just not so pleases my eyes. So at least make your anime feel somewhat have some weight in the actions of what could do, what could not do, the mystery, anything else that make me engage with the anime rather than I cannot enjoy the anime that have one thing unless it is a kids anime like Doraemon, like everything else. I cannot enjoy the anime that aim for the adult audience and themes. More lean towards the teenager with and with the reasons and everything else that you could just step out a bit and think, and that you could know that um it is what the fuck, it is not reasonable things. Sure, anime doesn't have to be reasonable all the time, but in this Call of the Night case, I would like the anime to have somewhat basis in the action, because everything feels just come and go, and come and go, not quality like Ghibli movie, where there's also a lot of meaning, symbolism in what could happen, rich in detail and spirited away, like having the frogs, having everything, like the what is the meaning of this, the transformation to the other world. There's thousands for meanings of it. Not that I don't mean there's not meaning in Call of the Night, but I think that in Call of the Night, I think that it is, while it is the animation style, the theme, it is out of the world, at the same time feels kind of grounded to reveal the real world. So I don't know what this anime is trying to achieve. It just really, it's just really vague, as I say a lot in this review. Um, and so what I mean by making the world of Call of the Night real, I do not mean by the fact that it doesn't have to be vampire, doesn't have to be, it has doesn't have to be a supernatural theme. Everything happen needs to keep track of everything else in the real world, or anything like that. I can't just collect my mind, but like what I mean by real in Call of the Night, and what I wanted Call of the Night to be at least, is the fact that when the quarter comes and go, that there, or what the meaning of, like maybe cold wonder of the night needs to have some meaning of, like maybe he just find the thing that would make Nasuna happy, or he want to get off with Nasuna, or he needs to find something. It has to be weight in the action of Ko. Well, it has to be some danger of the night, like Ko um, escape from his parents to go at night, and or he just found other police or danger at night, anything else that it, or maybe anything else, I don't know. It has to somewhat be more conflict in this anime. It might sound kind of reasonable that unreasonable that I would want this anime to be kind of grounded more on the reality, but it's true that this anime doesn't have enough things for me to keep me interested in the anime. True that adults make teens anime feels not being escapism, but in the first place, if you're talking about the real problem, it is essential to make your story make sense. But not all the case. Like regardless, you have some, like you could talk like Ghibli movie. You know, you you could be like Ghibli movie, criticize the social, criticize the artist, industry, anything else in the fantasy world. But in case of the Call of the Night, it sets on everything real, everything in the real world. Everything have to be, you eat, you sleep, you in the town, you have the relationship. Anything else, it may not be the point of the story, but I kind of wanted it to be um, more lean more towards those ways, because I've seen when I've seen this kind of story goes into this kind of way. I've seen some story like Chikimori, like Code E, go in this kind of way, and it feel this kind of rom com, this kind of anime. It feels like it's just floaty. It just doesn't have enough weight on the action of the character, and it's not feels like it's Kyoani animated, or like I don't know how to say. It's just like natural, supernatural. I mean, it means like make something mundane feel spatial, rather than make something very very spacious, very vast feels, and added it to it to make it added the topping to it, and it doesn't have anything. It's just gonna make like vampire fusing with the blood, um, expositional things feels more um, stupid and boring. But I can't talk about it much, as since I am the fans of Oregairu, which is also not that um, tidbits, not that in really focus on the reality, but Oregairu still have some of the senses of the going to the school. There's something to do. There's some, um, I mean, still grounded on the real world. There's also hikikomori stuff. There's also explore the world more. I mean, in Oregairu case, because it's too focused on particular person's school life relationship, so it kind of makes sense to not focus on family of argument. In cases of the Call of the Night, it feels floaty and out of nowhere. In terms of how he came to be, or the situation that took place, feels unreal even in terms of supernatural. Even out of the world incest, harem anime, or emo still has parents, why Call of the Night don't. Another point I don't really understand about Call of the Night is that it doesn't explain why or what Ko wanted to do. If he doesn't want to do, if he quit the school, I kind of get it that being vampire, he just need no food at all to live. It might seem like a nitpick here and there, but I mean, there's something to say about Call of the Night much, rather than its takes on the socials, which there's also nothing to talk about that much in the take up social on Call of the Night too, because in Call of the Night it's just like say blah blah blah, life sucks, and doesn't, and the school is just doesn't have anything else to do. So it's so the kids also have this feeling a lot, and friends and those kind of cliche stuff, which is not that much weight really. It is double-edged sword word without really tight or clear goal. The story as a whole feels like ReZero First Eye. While it has some charms, it has some mystery in it, blah blah blah, I find nothing to analyze about in this episode. Maybe it has some in like 100 episode later, but for now I feels like I don't really feel anything about the anime itself. Ratchet and ReZero will still have some senses of mystery, as I say. We don't really see what other things should call the squirrel in the night. Was he found the thing more interesting, or something rather than being with Nasuna, because night is a time of freedom. As expositional in the first episode with the supernatural theme, I am wanting to see Ko do just other thing, and found himself that also not related to the school. He just wonder, sure, this need not to be our reason to do thing, but in this cases, the story of Call of Night feel loosely connected, and the idea in the first episode still not present as the night being the time of freedom or something. I don't want to see another pure character drama stuff which I'm very bored about culture drama, pursuit, melodrama stuff. I don't really care about drama except that there's something that make other than the theme of love, the theme of character drama, like in Nagi no Sikara, where the story doesn't go out of the scale because it doesn't know what to do later. I feel really gladly if this anime have other thing like vampire stuff, rather than the relationship of the character, and have something big to you know analyze about, to think about. So the score of Cloud Online, it won't be that much, but it's better than the score that is exists on other episode. The score is just good. Episode 3.